Hello and welcome to Insider Focus, and today we're having another look at Rangers simply because they are about to be incredibly busy. After a fantastic result at the weekend against Celtic, they will now press on and adding a few more numbers to their squad. And you're also going to see some old and familiars leave the club too. Before we get going, please make sure you hit subscribe, it really helps us out. And let's dive into a few of Rangers signings and who could possibly come in. Well, let's talk about the weekend, shall we? Rangers had a fantastic result against Celtic, rivals in the Old Firm, obviously, when they demolished them 3-0. A star performance from the likes of Todd Cantwell helped them do that. Now, in terms of the league, it's obviously doesn't matter. Celtic have wrapped up the title in style with games to go. They're likely to win a treble too as they head to the Scottish Cup final against Inverness Caley Thistle in what has been a bit of a dismal season for Rangers, and that means there's major changes needed from Michael Beale and his staff. So who are they bringing in? Well, we do know that Alan McGregor is set to leave the club. The goalkeeper will retire after a distinguished career at Rangers and going down as a club legend. Robin McCrory actually stepped in, didn't he, at the weekend there for Alan McGregor and put on a fantastic performance. 2 games he's played this season in the league, 2 clean sheets. Has he staked a claim to be Rangers' number 1 next season? He has contracted until 2025. He only signed a new deal with Rangers in October, and the 25-year-old is set to be part of Michael Beale's plans. But whether that's a number 1 or a number 2, we shall wait and see. John McLaughlin could leave the club. Well, Al McGregor's understudy for such a long time has struggled now for game time, and with the likes of McCrory coming in, that speaks volumes too. So look out for McLaughlin potentially leaving. Rangers obviously linked with Jack Butland, a player that they've liked before, but we're still waiting for more on that front as well. And could the former England goalkeeper come in to Ibrox? He will have a plethora of offers. He's obviously out of contract in the summer, but he will have a lot of offers in England. He would be a hard one to get, but if they do, it would be a fantastic piece of business by Michael Beale and co. But you've seen Joe Hart come in, another former England number 1 at Celtic, so why couldn't Rangers go and get one of their own? At left back, Yilmaz played, which is the boy who signed from Besiktas for around £5 million, and Rangers weren't signing a £5 million player to put him on the bench. He struggled with injuries, and his first season in Ibrox has been a bit slow to get going, but played the last few games, put a good performance in against Celtic, and will challenge Borna Barisic for that left back position. Barisic has got interest in him from around Europe. There's plenty of clubs who would take a Croatian international defender who's played in Europe, played in a title-winning team, and it's been pivotal at Rangers in many a sense, especially with that wand of a left foot at times too. Barisic is out of contract in 2024. Could a new deal be done with Rangers over a new contract? Potentially, but if not, then you would expect him to be sold as he's coming into his last year, and the club would want to cash in on his asset and potentially bring in a new player or use some of that youth who have been bubbling under the surface for so long. At centre-back, Rangers have a number of options. They obviously have the ever-present Connor Goldson, who is vitally important to their side. You've seen the difference, what happened when he was out of the team. Ben Davies only recently signed is there too, and John Souttar, the former Hearts man, played and scored in yesterday's Old Firm. Obviously, Philippe Hollander, we're expecting him to be released by the club in the summer, and Rangers will look to strengthen in that position. They do have young Leon King there on a long-term deal as well, but he struggled to get in the side this year. What about Trusty at Arsenal? He's on loan at Birmingham City. He's played 44 times for them in the Championship, and we understand Arsenal are keen to see him off the books this summer. Rangers have had a look at him, and there is interest there. It's certainly a doable deal, one to watch over the coming weeks, but we do expect that to be a position that Rangers will fill in the summer. One position that they have filled is finally some competition for captain James Tavernier, the ever-present right-back who's been sensational for Rangers, scoring over 100 goals from right-back, which is absolutely mad for his club. But Dujon Sterling is going to join from Chelsea. He's out of contract in the summer. Rangers have snapped him up on a pre-contract deal, a good deal because Chelsea did offer him a deal to stay, as did Stoke City, the club he's been on loan at this season, and a number of other clubs inquired about him too. He was chosen to go to Ibrox though for more first-team action and to play under the lights at Europe in front of 50,000 next season, whether that be Europa League or the Champions League. A player that was highly rated at Chelsea, did play for the first team in a League Cup against Nottingham Forest, was his debut. I think he made a few appearances for the first team in that time, but has been on a spate of successful loans to Coventry, Wigan, Blackpool, and of course now Stoke City. Every single loan he's been on, each club has been really, really happy with him. And Chelsea fans might be sad to see him go because he's a player that had a lot of potential for the club. But obviously with the likes of Reece James there, it's going to be difficult to break into that side. So he has chosen to come to Rangers, and he will join in the summer after rejecting contracts from others and accepting one at Ibrox. In midfield, Rangers obviously have a lot of numbers, and you'll expect the club to make a statement soon where they will announce who will be leaving and who will be staying. Scott Arfield is one of the players who's out of contract, and the likelihood of him leaving the club is growing every day. A player of his character and personality, you can see why they would want to keep him, but he's certainly a guy that will have the attention of many round Scotland and perhaps in England too. Scott Arfield out of contract, Stephen Davis out of contract too, a legend at the club, and there was an idea perhaps that he'd get a player coaching role instead of a player role full time, so wait and see on that front. But what a legend at the club, and he has said himself he is not finished, he wants to keep playing despite the injury he picked up. Glenn Kamara has been on the fringes of Rangers for a while. We expect him to go, as said in the previous video, or expect them to be offers for him at least. Still interest in Glenn Kamara round Europe, and a player that was set to leave last summer, but that did not happen at the dying moment, which obviously stopped Nicholas Raskin joining in the summer. Instead, he joined in January. He's been a fantastic signing for Rangers. He's been what the club have wanted for a long time, and he finally is playing under Michael Beale. Steven Gerrard wanted him when he was manager, and Michael Beale was the assistant, and now he's at Rangers playing under Michael Beale as the gaffer. Todd Cantwell obviously came in from Norwich too, and he was unbelievable for Rangers yesterday. A player that was when he was in the English Premier League with Norwich, being watched and scouted and looked at by Man Cities, by Liverpools, by huge clubs, and was getting valued at around £38 million, which is obviously, when you're talking English Premier League, that's the kind of figures that they deal in. He's obviously had some stuff going on in his own life that may have affected him on the pitch, and his form dropped off at Norwich. I don't know what that stuff is, and I'm not going to pretend to or guess, because that would obviously be highly incorrect. But he's picked up at Rangers again, come into the squad, and looks like he is going to be a key player for them going forward. One of the major targets for Michael Beale when he took the job, and he got that deal done as quickly as he could. Todd Cantwell has been fantastic. And a teammate of Todd Cantwell is set to join, or a former teammate, I should say. Kieran Dowell is going to join from Norwich City. There has been some concerns about Dowell from Rangers fans about his injury history. He had an ankle operation in 2020. It kept him out for around 90 days. He missed around 18 league games for Norwich, and he has also had the little odd niggle here and there. However, he has played 23 times in the league this season. He's also played 25 games in total for Norwich City, so a player that can come in and out of the squad. He's also played in multiple positions: right wing, left wing, deeper right mid, left mid, attacking mid, defensive mid, central mid. So a utility man that can come in and out too, and perhaps that's what Rangers need in their squad to challenge a Celtic side who are flying and who have been able to make subs and have a much deeper bench, and that is what Beale will need to try and do. He'll be losing a number of players in the window, and he needs to build a squad that's capable of being malleable and changeable, and nothing massively differs within the team when they do that, and Dowell could be one of those. He will join us also on a pre-contract deal from Norwich. Offers again from England for him, but he has chosen to come to Glasgow to play under Michael Beale and join Todd Cantwell, who says the Rangers fans should be excited by the potential of his signing because he is a great player. He really enjoyed playing with him, and he's got a lot to offer. He also scored 5 goals for Norwich in the Championship this season in 23 games, so a player that can get a goal. His best position likely is in that 10 area or attacking midfield area, but Rangers do play that 3 in midfield, don't they? So he's going to slot in there for sure. Another one in the door is Kieran Dowell. Ryan Kent will also leave the club, obviously. This isn't news, but let's just touch on it quickly. Ryan Kent obviously arrived under Steven Gerrard for a £7 million fee from Liverpool. Has been a star man for Rangers for a long time, but unfortunately his numbers never matched up to his ability. He didn't get enough goals or assists really, but the work he did for Rangers was phenomenal, and every player, when you hear them talk about Ryan Kent or playing against him, how many of them mention him being the hardest game they have, because he can go either way and he's got great ability. Kent has offers from England and offers from around Europe too. You'll hear his decision in the coming weeks as to where he is going, so look out for that. But Ryan Kent will leave, and who could replace Ryan Kent? Well, let's talk about Lewis Palma, shall we? Rangers fans very excited by the potential of signing the 23-year-old Honduran winger. 4-9 in the playoffs in the Greek League at the end. He had a phenomenal end to the season. He's also capped by Honduras. Now, there's an open race for Palma at the moment. There is no one in front, as I understand. I appreciate there's many reports, and I'm not here to besmirch or talk down other journalists, but for what I'm hearing is that there's an open race for Palma. The Greek season is now finished. He will now focus on his new club. He will leave Aris, we understand, and a new club is on the horizon. He has offers from all over the place, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes scenes there as well. No one majorly advanced perhaps is being talked about, but you will hear stuff coming out, I think, in the next week, coming days, about where he could be heading. And Rangers are in that race, for sure, are a really attractive option to Palma, but there's multiple clubs in that race at this point in time. Alfredo Morelos will obviously leave Rangers. Now let's talk about Alfredo Morelos. Let's have an honest conversation about Alfredo Morelos. I appreciate we've got viewers on here who watch English football, who are here for we talk about obviously lots of different clubs. Alfredo Morelos came in from Rangers for £1 million from Helsinki, and you look at the likes of a Brighton who signed these players for so little and what they bring to the club. And Alfredo Morelos, of course, has been headline hunter in a lot of ways. He's been in a lot of headlines for a lot of the wrong reasons at times during his time in Scottish football. However, it's fair to say that for £1 million, what he brought to the club was unbelievable. He became the club's all-time top European goal scorer. Unbelievable performances against big teams in the Europa League when Rangers were going on those brilliant runs to help them get back to where they need to be financially as well. Yesterday he didn't get off the bench against Celtic. Certainly a feeling that may be a wee bit harsh. Obviously Michael Beale said what he said a couple of weeks back or a week ago about his impact not being good on the team. However, maybe he should have been given the chance at one last bite. Maybe those who agree that the future's now coming. And Zach Lovelace, the youngster who signed from Millwall, very exciting young talent, came on instead. But Morelos has been for £1 million what you'd want from a £1 million signing. Scored over 100 goals for the club. Been absolutely superb, despite obviously his problems too, and he has got great offers on the table. You will hear about where he's going as well in the next couple of weeks, and I'm sure he'll go on and kick on wherever he goes. But Rangers will have to replace him. They will have to replace him with a striker who can score goals. Van Veen has been muted from Motherwell. The likelihood of that is getting less and less at this point in time. 31 years old, scored a bucket load of goals for Motherwell this season and was nominated for Player of the Year. If you've not seen the goal where he takes it down between the Kilmarnock players, please go have a look at it. It's absolutely phenomenal. But the likelihood of that, again, is growing less and less. However, it's keen to note Rangers will need a number of players in a number of positions. They need to bring in strength and depth. With Kolak, who's obviously not fancied by Beale, could he leave after signing only last summer? That's a possibility too, for sure. So Rangers are going to have to do some work up top. We've talked about the likes of Lyndon Dykes before, out of contract in 2024, played under Beale. Will he suit this current way of what Beale wants to play? Well, he did when he was at QPR and managed him. That is a potential. My understanding is there potential for Lyndon Dykes to leave QPR this season. So what I'm telling you is there's a potential to leave QPR this season. Are Rangers an option for him at this time? Is that somewhere he could go? Certainly a possibility, but not something that we could report that Rangers are directly in for him at this point in time. We shall wait and see on that front, but certainly a player that could move this summer and is potentially available, especially as he comes towards the last year of his deal. We spoke about Kristovic as well in Serbia, the Macedonian striker, who's playing in Serbia, one that the club have looked at, but nothing majorly advanced there at all. So that's again a player that the club have looked at, could be an option on a wide-ranging list, but nothing majorly advanced there as well. So a number of targets for Rangers to look at. In the coming weeks, you're going to see things ramp up very, very quickly. The thing is, Michael Beale wants to get his business done very, very early, and we've seen that with the likes of Sterling. You've seen that with the likes of Dibble. You're going to see that as well with a few more players over the next week. So keep an eye out and make sure you're here for when that happens. Luis Palma will be able to tell you what's going on there. Alfredo Morelos next club, I'll be able to tell you what's going on there. So make sure you're following Football Insider, myself, and Twitter, and I'll update you as I get that as well. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.